हेलो। दोस्तों, आप लोगों का स्वागत है मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल एरा ऑफ साइंस में। आज मैं बहुत ही हॉट टॉपिक लेकर आया हूं, क्योंकि एक्चुअली जब हम साइंस की बात करते हैं तो साइंस में इस समय जितना ही एडवांस टेक्निक हमको आएगी उतना ही हमारा रिसर्च अच्छा होगा और उतना ही बेटर होगा। तो मैं आज जो टॉपिक लेकर आया हूँ आप सब लोगों के लिए, एन इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ फ्लो साइटोमेट्री एंड इट एप्लीकेशन इन आवर डेली रिसर्च। जो भी बायोलॉजिकल साइंसेस के बंदे हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स हैं, और जो भी रिसर्च कर रहा है इन द फील्ड ऑफ सेल साइंस, सेल्स के एनालिसिस में, उनको फ्लो साइटोमेट्री से कहीं ना कहीं वाकिफ़ होना ही पड़ता है। मैं इस लेक्चर को इंग्लिश में इसलिए नहीं कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि आप लोगों को फ्लो साइटोमेट्री का बेसिक मैं समझा सकूँ। सो मैं आगे बढ़ता हूँ, और मैं इससे पहले मैं इंट्रोडक्शन आपको अपना दे देता हूँ। माई सेल्फ अभिषेक पांड्या, एंड आई एम डूइंग रिसर्च इन द फील्ड ऑफ इम्यूनोलॉजी एंड सेल साइंसेज फ्रॉम डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, बाबा साहेब भीमराव अम्बेडकर यूनिवर्सिटी, लखनऊ। So my work is totally depends on 293T cells, A549 cells and FADU cells. So these cells are continuous cell line, and if we treat these cells by different molecule or different chemicals or different biomolecule, so the cell shows some of the phenomena in it. Like if we treat some cells by H2O2, mild doses of H2O2, then the cells automatically goes into the apoptosis. So as you already know, the flow cytometry is the key instrument to identify whether the cells are undergone apoptosis or not. So this is one example, and I am going to tell how and from where you are going to use this flow cytometry for your research. So let's move further. So flow cytometry, measuring properties of cell as they flow in a fluid suspension across an illuminated light path. Okay. So what do you understand by flow cytometer? तो अगर हम आपसे बात करें what is the meaning of flow cytometer? So मीनिंग जब आएगा तो फ्लो है। फ्लो का मतलब movement of a molecule in a single direction, that is flow. Cytometry is your cell analysis. Okay. So when we talk about the properties of the cell, and the properties of these cells can be measured after flowing the cells into a fluid suspension, and a illuminated light is going to emitted on that cell, and it tells something or everything about the cell. That is known as that process, that phenomena is known as flow cytometry. So basic mechanism which are involved in flow cytometry are biological samples. First we have to have biological samples, either they are cells or they are blood cells, or they are suspension cells, or they are any type of cells, any type of biological matter. That biological samples are labeled it with fluorescent marker, because without fluorescent marker this flow cytometry can't even recognize what is the what are the molecule which are moving towards the illumination light. So cells move in a linear stream through a focused light source, that is laser beam. Fluorescent molecules, as we already know, because we are the research scholar, and you are also, I think you are MSc or BSc, so you knows, because in 12th itself you study that a molecule, fluorescent molecule, get activated from ground state to excited state when light is emitted on that molecule. So that emission is filtered and detected by sensitive light detector, usually photomultiplier tube, and there are different type of detectors are used, which I am going to talk later. So after this detector, conversion of analog fluorescent signals to digital signal, because if we have data and we don't have analytical power, so the data is going to be waste, the data is ruined. So we have to have good analytical power to identify what fluorescent molecule, what flow cytometry result are going to tell. Okay, so flow cytometry, this method allows quantitative as well as qualitative analysis of several property of cell population from virtually any type of fresh unfixed tissue or body fluid. As I already told, body fluid like uh, blood cells, body fluid like uh, seminal fluid, etc., etc. Whatever you want to identify through flow cytometry, you can easily identify it even when you are tagged that cell or that molecule with fluorescent molecule. The property can be measured into the particle related size, relative granularity or internal complexity and relative fluorescence intensity of that particular sample or particular biological molecule. Most commonly analyzed material are blood, bone marrow aspirate, lymph node suspensions. We can easily detect bone marrow aspirate, as we already know that there are several cancers uh, in which we can't recognize what is going on in the cells. So we can easily identify that cancerous cell by the help of this flow cytometry. So principle of flow cytometry, basic flow cytometry components are fluidic system, that is flow system, cell in suspension are brought in a single file pass. Single file pass means a cell can move in a singlet form from the fluidics, in the fluidics, sorry. Second one is optical system, the focused laser which scatter light and emit fluorescence that is filtered and collected. Electronic system, that is signal processing, as I already told, ki if we don't have detector, the signal is going to be waste, your experiment is going to be waste. So this part is very important, so that emitted light is converted into digitalized form and that are stored in a file to analyze for your results. Flow system, one of the fundamental of flow cytometry is the ability to measure the property of individual particle. So if we talk about property of individual particle, so it is very important that you can make a cell suspension like that, so that a single cell can be passed from the fluidic system. When a sample is injected into a cytometer, it is ordered into a stream of single particle. The fluid system consists of a flow cell, quartz chamber, central channel core through which the sample is injected. Outer sheath contain faster flowing fluid known as sheath fluid, which contains 0.9% saline, or we can use PBS, enclosing the central core. In this central core, without touching that outer sheath to your particle or your biological sample, the cell or your biological sample moving one by one from your laser beam. Okay, so I am showing here some of the variants which are available in the market. First one is BC is very old company in the field of flow cytometry, and Cytoflex is one of the best instrument which I ever seen. Second, Novocyte. Third one is BD-Fax BD, and fourth one is your Thermo Fisher, that is Attune Life Technology Attune Next. So I am not going deeply inside this, and I am going to take one of the instrument, that is Attune Next from Thermo Life Technologies. So here you are seeing, this is the sample holder. Okay, in this you have to put cuvette, 2 ml cuvette or 2 ml cuvette or 2 ml Eppendorf tube, and this you are seeing that a needle like structure which is injected into the cuvette to suck the sample from that cuvette or Eppendorf tube. Here one pump is settled, so that your cells is moving one by one from the laser beam. There is one detector system. All the detector system in the Attune Next is putting upward side of the instrument, and here PMT photomultiplier tube are used for detection of the signals. And here sheath fluid and waste collector containers are put in. And this is these two are sheath fluid and these two are waste collector tubes are putting inside the flow cytometer machine. And this is something about your AttuneNext cytometer software. By the help of this software you can easily identify your sample. So hydrodynamic focusing, this is one of the basic phenomena which are going to use by the flow cytometry. Once the sample is injected into a stream of sheath fluid within the flow chamber, they are forced into a center, the stream forming a single file by a principle of hydrodynamic focusing. So what do you understand by hydrodynamic focusing? The meaning of hydrodynamic focusing is that by the movement of this sheath fluid, it maintain a central core region, so that without touching the cells to the sheath fluid, it can move or it can pass in a singlet form from the flow. That is known as hydrodynamic focusing. Only one cell or particle can pass through a laser beam at a given movement. Okay, the sample pressure is always higher than, so this is very important thing. The sample pressure is always higher than the sheath fluid pressure, to ensure a high flow rate, allowing more cell to enter in the stream at a given moment. High flow rate, immunophenotyping. High flow rate we can use in immunophenotyping. We are always using high flow rate when we are analyzing immunophenotyping analysis by the help of flow cytometer. And when we talk about DNA analysis and when we are performing DNA analysis, cell cycle analysis, so the flow rate should be less. Optics. After the cell delivery system, the need is to excite the cell using a light source. The light source used in a flow cytometer, that is laser, most commonly used, and substitute are arc lamps. Why laser are more common? Because they are highly coherent and uniform. They can be easily focused on a very small area, because as we already know that the size of the cell is very small, so we are using laser rather than arc lamp or other type of laser source. They are monochromatic, emitted single wavelength of light. Argon laser we are using generally because its wavelength is 488 nanometer, blue to blue green. When light intersect a laser beam at the so-called interrogation point, when this light is going to intersect a laser beam, when this light is going to intersect a laser beam, so it is called interrogation point. This point is known as interrogation point. So at this interrogation point, two events occurred. Light is going to scattered. Second one is emission of light, that is fluorescence are going to be emitted out from the molecule. Fluorescence is a light emitted during decay of excited electron to its basal state. As I already told, fluorescence is the phenomena by which a molecule, when a molecule are going to excited from ground state to its excited state, it emits some energy. That energy is known as fluorescence. Optics is light scattering. When a light from a laser interrogate a cell, that cell scatter light in all directions. As we already know, if we put some of the molecule here and suppose हमने एक हमने पॉलीथीन रखी एंड यहाँ से हमने टॉर्च जलाया, ठीक। जब हम टॉर्च जलाएंगे और ये पॉलीथीन थोड़ी सी मोटी है साइज में, तो क्या होगा, कुछ लाइट तो पास हो जाएगी, कुछ लाइट एमिट हो जाए, मतलब स्कैटर्ड हो जाएगी। और ये स्कैटरिंग ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ही डायरेक्शन में 90 डिग्री इसमें जाएगा, ये हर डायरेक्शन में ये जाएगी। दैट इज नोन एज लाइट स्कैटरिंग। सो based on this light scattering phenomena, we can easily detect the two phenomena of the cell. One is cell size, another one is cell granularity, means internal component of the cell or internal complexity of the cell. So मैं अभी आपको एक फिनोमिना बताऊंगा, एग्जाम्पल बताऊंगा, सो आपको बहुत आसानी से समझ में आएगा। सपोज ये एक हमारे पास सेल है, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ एंड फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग और साइड स्कैटरिंग में डिफरेंस क्या है, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग एंड साइड स्कैटरिंग। सो फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग का मतलब क्या होता है, सपोज एक हमारे पास मॉलिक्यूल है, ठीक है, एक पॉलीथीन है, आप सेल्स को भी समझ सकते हैं, पॉलीथीन को भी समझ सकते हैं, वट एवर यू वॉन्ट, सो यू कैन ईजिली अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग एंड साइड स्कैटरिंग। सो फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग में क्या है, हमने एक एक मॉलिक्यूल लिया, उसमें हमने एक टॉर्च से लाइट डाली या एक लेज़र लाइट डाली, क्योंकि हम यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं फ्लो साइटोमेट्री की, तो यहाँ पे हम लेज़र लिए, लेज़र यहाँ से निकली, इस मॉलिक्यूल पे पड़ी, इस मॉलिक्यूल की वजह से क्या हुआ, कुछ लाइट ऐसे चली गई दिस साइड। सो यहाँ पे हमने डिटेक्टर लगाया हुआ है, तो जब ये यहाँ पे पड़ी तो इसके प्रोपोर्शन में, इस सेल्स के प्रोपोर्शन की अगर हम बात करेंगे, तो जो यहाँ पर मॉलिक्यूल डिटेक्ट हुआ, जो यहाँ पर डिटेक्शन हुआ, दैट इज नोन एज फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग। ओके, सो व्हाट डज इट टेल। सो अब आप खुद अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि अगर एक लेज़र पड़ रही है यहाँ पे और लेज़र स्कैटर्ड हो रही है फॉरवर्ड को, आगे को, फॉरवर्ड इज मीन्स आगे, सो ये क्या बता रहा है हमको, इसका सेल का साइज बता रहा है या मॉलिक्यूल का साइज बता रहा है, अंडरस्टूड। So forward scattering is that, measuring the cell size. What is the meaning of side scattering? Side scattering means अब सेम सेल आते हैं, मैंने बोला एक लेज़र पड़ी, ज़रूरी नहीं है कि लेज़र फॉरवर्ड ही स्कैटर हो, तो यहाँ पर भी एक डिटेक्टर हम लगाते हैं मशीन में, एक यहाँ भी लगाते हैं, एक यहाँ भी लगाते हैं। सो क्या होता है, कुछ लाइट्स आई, फॉरवर्ड स्कैटरिंग हुई, कुछ लाइट क्या हुआ, इसकी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इतनी इतनी ज़्यादा थी, मतलब इसका ओपेक था कि कुछ लाइट स्कैटर्ड हो गई साइड में, दैट इज नोन एज साइड स्कैटरिंग। क्यों ओपेक हुई, क्यों क्यों ये साइड में गई, क्योंकि इसकी ओपेसिटी ज़्यादा थी, ट्रांसल्यूसेंट मॉलिक्यूल नहीं था ये, इसकी वजह से कुछ लाइट तो पास हो गई, कुछ लाइट इससे भी पास हुई, और कुछ मॉलिक्यूल, कुछ कुछ हमारी लाइट, जो लाइट के लेज़र थे, जो बीम थी, वो साइड स्कैटरिंग पे चली गई। सो व्हाट डज इट टेल, साइड स्कैटरिंग हमको क्या बताता है, साइड स्कैटरिंग हमको बताता है सेल ग्रेनुलैरिटी या इंटरनल कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ द सेल। इट टेल्स अबाउट साइटोसेलिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द सेल, सेल ग्रेनुलैरिटी, सेल इंक्लूजन्स, DNA content, etc., etc. It tells. Okay. So see here, when a laser beam pass through a single particle or single cell, तो FSC detect forward scattered light and SSC detector detects side scattered beams. So why SSC is required? So by the help of this FSC SSC analysis, we can easily identify our cells of interest, like if we have hybrid type of sample in which lymphocyte, granulocyte, example, lymphocyte, granulocyte, monocytes and RBC debris dead cells are going to be there. So how we can identify which particles are our monocyte, which particles are granulocyte, which particles are lymphocyte. So by the help of this FSC SSC analysis, we can easily identify debris, we can easily remove the debris by the help of gating, and by the help of that gating only, we can easily select our cell of interest. So if suppose if FSC is more, then size of the cell are more. So monocyte cells are less granular, but their size is more. So monocyte comes here. So granulocyte is more granularity inside the cell and cell size is also more. So the granulocytes are coming over here, and cell debris is very smaller cells, the very smaller cells, very small particles or debris of the cells are going to located over here near the zero. So light scattered in a forward direction is proportional to square of the radius of the sphere, and so that the size of the cell of particle. The cell are labeled with fluorochrome linked antibody or stained with fluorescent membrane, cytoplasmic or nuclear dye. So most commonly fluorochromes we are using for detecting the cell or for detecting the cell receptor molecule, fluorescent isothiocyanate, that is FITC, whose emission maxima is 530 nanometer, phycoerythrin, that is PE, 576 nanometer, pyridine chlorophyll alpha complex P per CP is 680 nanometer, LO 5-cosinin APC 660 nanometer, Texas Red 620 nanometer, ECD, that is PE Texas Red tandem 650 nanometer, whose emission maxima I am telling. PC5, that is PE Cinin 5 di tandem, is 667 nanometer. So what is now next I am going to talk about optics. Emission of fluorescent light or fluorescence we can detect by the help of optics. As a fluorescent molecule present or particle is interrogated by a laser beam, laser light, it will absorb energy from a laser and release some absorbed energy at longer wavelength. As I already told, fluorescence is the excited from ground state to excited state and emit some energy. That energy is detected by the help of optics. That emitted photon pass through a collection lens and are split and steered down a specific channel which are used for filters. Emitted fluorescence intensity is proportional to the light. Okay. So optic filters are, now filters are, there are four different types of filter we are using in flow cytometer. That is long pass filter, the second one is short pass filter, band pass filter, and dichroic. So long pass filter is transmit all wavelength greater than a specified wavelength. Suppose if we are using 500 LP, it will transmit more than 500 LP light from there and stop the below 400 below 500 LP 500 nanometer wavelength in the filters. So it emit 510 to whatever the range of long pass filter it emits, but lesser than that it cannot emit. So second one is short pass filter. Short pass filter means transmit all wavelength less than specified wavelength. That suppose we are using 600 short pass filter, that it transmit all wavelength lesser than 600 and not emit more than 600 nanometer wavelength light is can't transmit by the help of short pass filter. So band pass filter are transmit a specific band of wavelength. Band pass filters are that if we are using 540 nanometer, so it emit 540. Okay, means fixed nanometer light are going to be transmitted from that filter. Dichroic is long pass or short pass filter, placed at 45. It contains both the filters. Placed at 45 angle of incidence, part of light is reflected at 90 degree and part of light is transmit and continue, and it can detect by the help of detector 1 and detector 2. Detectors are photodetector converted a photon to electrical impulses. Two common type detector are usually used in flow cytometer. That is, one is photodiode, used for strong signal when saturation is a potential problem, that is forward scatter detector. So we are using, if we know our sample can emit strong signals, then we can use photodiode. If we knows that our sample is very less, the fluorescence intensity is very less, so we should use photomultiplier tube for detecting our signals. Okay. Electronic subsystem convert photon to photoelectron, measure amplitude, area and width of photoelectron pulse. It amplifies pulse either linearly or logarithmically and then digitalizing the amplified pulse. Electronic creation of a voltage pulse. Here I am showing that how you identify or how you detect the peak in the software. Suppose this is the laser beam, this is your cell, and this is fluidics. Okay, so the cell is coming, so laser is in a single direction. Okay, when cell enter into the laser beam, some light are going to be transmitted and signal peaks are going to be increased. Okay, when complete cell are in the area of that laser, it shows forward scattering and side scattering or emission. Okay, so it shows that, so it reaches about stationary phase, and when cell move out from the laser beam, it is going to be in decline phase. Understand? Data analysis plot type, there the data analysis is very important. So there are several plot choices we are having in our software of the flow cytometer. One is single color histogram, two color dot plot, two color counterpart, two color density plot. Fluorescent intensity F1 versus the number of cell counted, that is single color. Means if we are using FITC, So that is single color histogram. We are preparing that in x direction, in x axis, here FITC, and here cells. Okay, two color means Fi of parameter 1 versus Fi of parameter 2, means suppose we are using two filter, that is one is PE and another one is FITC, that is two color dot plot. Two color counterpart means concentric circle from around population, more dense the population, the closer the ring are to each other, means we are circularizing the population of the cell, that is known as two color counterpart plot. Two color density plot means it shows the density of the cells at a places. Here we are showing histogram, counterpart, this is counters, this is the density plot, means here the cell population is more than this. Dot plot, this is the dot plot, this is grayscale density plot, means more black, more number of cells are present over here. Okay, data analysis and gating is very important phenomena in analysis of the flow cytometry result. Getting selection of only your interested population of the cell by the help of only and only gating, we can select our cell population and identify its mechanism, identify its phenomena, identify its properties. Okay, interpretation of graph. If you don't know how to interpret the graph, you cannot identify, you cannot detect what flow cytometry gives you in the form of graphs, in the form of plots. Okay, so I am discussing this part later on when we talk about cell cycle analysis or apoptosis. So we can I am going to discussing that part over there. So three common modes of for dot plots are forward scattering versus side scattering. This is very very important. We can put that graph each and every analysis. Single color versus side scatter. This graph should also present in your analytical part. Two color, if you are using two color fluorescence plot, then uh, beside these two, forward scattering, this graph and this graph, you have to use x and y as I already told, PE or FITC over here. Okay, when to say an antigen is positive or negative? Here they are using two color part, one is PE as I discussed earlier, FITC and PE. So suppose when to say an antigen is positive or negative? What is the meaning of antigen? Suppose antigen is your receptor molecule over the cells. So sample that have some cells single positive for CD8 along the x-axis, some cells have single positive for CD4, some cells have dual positive CD4 plus CD8, some cells are dual negative. So I am going to tell you where we find dual negative, where we find single positive CD4, where we find single positive CD8. Suppose if we tagged antibody against CD8 with FITC and antibody against CD4 with PE, so we can easily identify our cell population in the flow cytometer. Suppose we tagged FITC, CD8 and CD4 with PE, so the population which comes over here is both dual negative, that is CD4 negative and CD8 negative. Here CD8 positive, CD4 negative, because the number of cells are not moving over there here, so this is CD8 positive and CD4 negative. Here both positive, dual positive, CD4 positive because the number of cell population is increasing over here, CD8 is increasing, CD4 is increasing, and this one containing CD8 negative, CD4 positive. Okay, so if we selected that Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, so we can easily detect this process. How to differentiate dim and bright expression of an antigen? Dim means the signal which comes nearer to the zero, that is dim population. bright population which is moving upward or sidewards from the uh, graph, that is brightly populated cells. Okay. What is unique in flow cytometry? Multiparametric, it is multiparametric, rapid analysis, information at a single cell level, detection of a rare cell population, allow physical isolation of cell of interest. Okay. Flow cytometry setup. We have two, sorry, flow cytometer setup means contains set the forward and side scatter detector for your untreated unstained cell population of interest, set fluorescence detector sensitivity. Using more than one fluorescence marker, do you need to correct spectral overlap with compensation? If we are using two fluorescence marker at a time, so we have to compensate our over spectral overlap over the fluorescence intensity which comes by the flow cytometer. Collect data from your samples. So setting up of FSC SSC, we are forward we are going to select we are going to increase or decrease the voltage of the instrument so that the cell population is comes in the in here. So as you show that the cell population HeLa cells are all HeLa cells are coming over here, and this is not your interested cells because maybe it might be not divided cells, or it may be highly brighter cells. So we cannot select the dimly populated cell, we cannot select brighter cells, we can select optimum cells which comes over here. Okay. So setting fluorescence detector means when we put PE and FITC, so suppose this cells is we know that this cells is dual negative. So as I you already understand that if these cells are dual negative, then the population comes in quadrant 3. So by the help of untreated cells, you gated the sample, so that after this gate you apply this gate to each and every plot, so that you can identify how many cells comes over here, how many cells comes over here, how many cells comes over here, with reference to your untreated or control cells. Okay. Compensation means, what is the meaning of compensation? Suppose if we are using that FITC and PE, in case of example is apoptotic analysis, we are using FITC, that is annexin, and PE is propidium iodide. So suppose this peak comes by the help of annexin 5 and this peak comes by the help of PE. So we have to minimize the spectral overlap from the by the help of compensation. So the spectral overlap minimization formula are FL2 minus percent of FL1. FL1 मीन्स FL2 में से हमको ये स्पेक्ट्रल ओवरलैप हमको माइनस करना पड़ेगा. तो जो इसकी रीडिंग आएगी और जो इसकी रीडिंग आएगी, जब इसको हम अप्लाई कर देंगे तो हमको जो रीडिंग मिलेगी वो परफेक्ट मिलेगी और अच्छी मिलेगी, बेटर मिलेगी. ठीक है. अब आप यहाँ पे देख रहे होंगे कि यहाँ पे स्पेक्ट्रल ओवरलैप की वजह से ये बिफोर कंपनसेशन इस ग्राफ में कंपनसेशन नहीं किया गया, तो आप देख रहे हैं ये पॉपुलेशन इधर चली गई. जैसे ही हमने कंपनसेशन अप्लाई किया, पॉपुलेशन बहुत अच्छी तरीके से डिवाइड हो गई. Understand? This is the mechanism of compensation. Why we require this? Means false positive result should be minimized by the help of compensation if we are using two fluorescence molecule at a time. Okay. So if we talk about how to build your own flow cytometer, so here you identified that photomultiplier tube, sample collection, waste collector, this is detector, this is tube, laser beam, this is your sheath fluid, peristaltic movement of the sheath fluid, etc. So
in this animation, we will introduce you to the flow cytometry experiment.
I am going to show one video to you all so that you can easily identify what is the meaning of flow cytometer. Okay. wait a minute because the speaker is
In this animation, we will introduce you to the flow cytometry experimental technique. Flow cytometry is used to count and analyze the size, shape, and properties of individual cells within a heterogeneous population of cells. Flow cytometry data is extremely quantitative and can be analyzed in depth by specific flow cytometry software programs. Once a suspension of individual cells has been prepared for flow cytometry analysis from cells, tissues, or organisms, the prepared sample is placed on the flow cytometer. How does a flow cytometer analyze the size, shape, and properties of individual cells? A flow cytometer contains several key components, including the sample, fluidics that move the sample into the flow cytometer, lasers, optics which gather the light, detectors to sense the light, and a computer system to output the data into a form that can be analyzed by the researcher. Once a sample has been placed in the flow cytometer, the machine will suck up the sample, mix the sample into a stream of saline solution in the cytometer, and lead the cell suspension through a narrowing channel, causing the cells to form a single file line before the cells pass through the laser at the interrogation point. Each cell within the sample then moves across the laser beam, allowing each cell within the sample to be individually analyzed. As each cell passes through the laser beam will scatter in multiple directions. The flow cytometer detects light scattered in a forward manner, called forward scatter, and light scattered in a sideways manner, called side scatter. The amount of forward scattered light for each cell is detected by a detector on the far side of the cell from the laser. Forward scatter is proportional to the size of the cell. The detector converts the scattered light into a voltage pulse, which is directly proportional to the amount of forward scattered light. The computer converts these data into a histogram plot with the amount of forward scattered light on the x-axis and the number of cells on the y-axis. The amount of side scattered light is detected by a detector located perpendicular to the path of the laser beam. Side scatter is proportional to the shape and internal complexity of a cell. Just like with forward scattered light, the flow cytometer converts the detected side scattered light into a voltage pulse, which is directly proportional to the amount of side scattered light. By analyzing the forward and side scatter data together, the researcher can understand a cell's size, shape, and complexity. In addition, the analysis of the forward and side scatter data can allow the researcher to divide the heterogeneous population of cells into individual populations with varying size, shape, and complexity. This capability of analyzing multiple populations within a sample is the immense strength of the flow cytometry experimental technique. In addition to analyzing a cell's size, shape, and complexity, a flow cytometer can also detect emitted light from excited fluorescent molecules, such as fluorescently labeled antibodies or fluorescent dyes or stains. For the rest of this animation, we will focus on the detection of fluorescent signal by the flow cytometer. For more information about fluorescence, please see the fluorescence animation. The fluorescent molecules, or fluorophores, are excited by the correct wavelength of laser light when the cell passes through the laser beam. After excitation, the light emitted by the fluorophore is directed along a path with emission filters that allow for the detection of multiple different fluorophores emitting light in a cell. A flow cytometer can detect the presence of a fluorophore and also quantify the relative amount of a fluorophore within a cell. A flow cytometer can also be used to detect light emitted from multiple fluorophores in the same sample. While it is common for flow cytometers to detect 2, 3, or 4 colors at the same time, some flow cytometers can even detect up to 18 different colors at the same time. The data can then be presented to the researcher in the form of a histogram or a dot plot. Such data furthers the powers of flow cytometry analysis by enabling the researcher to analyze individual populations of cells within a heterogeneous mix of cells in the sample.
So I hope you understand what what I want to tell you about flow cytometer. I'm not going to tell about advanced things in flow cytometer because some of you can't recognize what I am going to say. So this is the basic lecture of flow cytometer. Okay. So where we can use that flow cytometer? Applications of flow cytometer are analysis point of view. When we talk about analysis of the cells, when then immunophenotyping, dyes that bind to nucleic acid, that is DNA or RNA, that is your cell cycle analysis, functional analysis, cell counting, and cell sorting. Cell sorting means if we want to sort out the cells of a specific type, we can easily sort out the cells by the help of FACS, that is fluorescence activated cell sorter. And for analysis we are using FACS machine. Okay. So clinical application for that flow cytometer are HIV/AIDS. We can identify absolute CD4 count, as we already know. As we knows that HIV in HIV/AIDS patient, the CD4 count are going to be reduced. So we can easily identify that this patient sample are HIV positive. Joint pain, that is HLA-B27 assay we are using for clinical application in flow cytometric analysis. Hematological malignancies, by the help of flow cytometer we can easily identify hematological malignancies. Diagnosis and classification, detection of MRD. By the help of MRD detection we can easily identify hematological malignancy in the patients. Solid tumors means we can detect cell cycle analysis, DNA ploidy or S phase fraction. So in solid tumors the S phase is very more because uncontrolled growth of the cells are happening in tumors. So obvious है कि अगर आपका सॉलिड ट्यूमर है तो ट्यूमर क्यों बनेगा? जब सेल साइकिल बढ़ेगी, सेल साइकिल हो रही है, नंबर ऑफ सेल्स बढ़ रहे हैं, हमको ज़रूरत नहीं है उतनी सेल्स का, लेकिन हमारा रेप्लिकेशन हो रहा है, सेल्स का इंक्रीमेंट हो रहा है, सो सॉलिड ट्यूमर्स बनना शुरू हो जाता है. सो we can easily identify solid tumor by the help of flow cytometer. Second one is primary immunodeficiency disorder, that is TBNK. TBNK is the primary immunodeficiency disorder. Phagocytic function detect. Phagocytosis we can easily identify it by the help of flow cytometry. Okay. Hemolytic anemia, that is reticulocyte count, PNH, osmotic fragility assay. Fetal HB detection, feto-maternal hemorrhage. Treatment response in sickle cell anemia. Bleeding disorder, that is platelets receptor assay. Platelets count we can identify by the help of flow cytometry, GTBSS. Platelet functional assay, CD62P, PAC1. Transfusion and transplantation, CD34 stem cell count, residual WBC count in leukodopeptide blood packs. Flow cytometry cross match by host immune response in sepsis. Sepsis is a disorder in which we can identify flow cytometry cross match, surface marker in PMN, monocyte, cytokine response in cells. Later on we can identify that corona infected patients, we can take the cells from lungs, we can take the sample from lungs, we can जैसे अभी आज के समय में जो कोरोना चल रहा है, तो कोरोना में भी फ्लो साइटोमेट्री प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल टू आइडेंटिफाई वेदर द पेशेंट आर गोइंग टू बी इन्फेक्टेड विद कोरोना और नॉट. हम आरटी के साथ साथ फ्लो साइटोमीटर से भी कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे कि हमें पता है डिफरेंट पेपर, डिफरेंट स्टडीज फर्दर स्टडीज टेल्स दैट द रिसेप्टर मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ कोरोना वायरस इज H2 and the molecule which are present on the surface of that molecule, that corona, is your surface glycoprotein which contains S1 S2 subtype. So by the help of making that antibody against that S1 and S2, we can easily identify the coronavirus in the patients. So this instrument is very advanced technique to identify within a fraction of time whether that infected individual are infected that corona or not. RT takes RT because RT doesn't take anything, any exposure of the cells, but in flow cytometer the exposure is much, because you have to process the cells, you have to incubate the cells which contain coronavirus. So during that incubation time, this virus may infect the person who is technically handling the samples of the body fluids. Okay, so I think in future this flow cytometry can be used for detection of that uh, coronavirus from the patients. Okay, so I am going to take only two examples. One is ploidy analysis and apoptotic analysis. So when we talk about ploidy analysis, it contains DNA ploidy and S phase fraction. Okay, so cell cycle analysis, this DNA ploidy and S phase fraction comes under cell cycle analysis. The percentage of cells in each region analyzed in normal tissue, G0 G1 contains 95% cells, S phase contain 2.5% cell, G2 M phase contain 2.5% cell. Because of maximum number of cells in a healthy cell cycle, maximum number of cells are going to be in resting phase. That resting phase is known as G0, and very smaller fraction of cells are going to comes under S phase. So it contains 2.5% only cells comes in S phase. Okay, and that 2.5% S phase, if that 2.5% cells comes from G0 G1 phase to S phase, that this 2.5% S phase further moves towards the G2 M phase for division of the cells. Okay, so S phase, synthesis phase, here you already shows that if G0 G1 phase is 95%, then obvious है कि जो peak होगी G01 की वो maximum आएगी. ओके, S phase में 2.5, G2M में 2.5 डीएनए कंटेंट हो गया. ठीक, G1 में सेल ग्रोथ होती हैं, S फेज में डिवीजन होता है, G2 में सेल डिवाइड हो जाती है और M फेज में माइटोसिस होकर सेल आपकी टूट जाती है. दैट इज योर सेल साइकिल. So graph obtaining from DNA cell cycle through flow cytometry, this is one of the best example in which number one graph is your control, second one is treated, second, third and fourth one is treated. So you all shows that 60% cells comes under G1 phase, 28.1% comes in S phase, G2 M phase shows 11%. In this 62% cells move towards G0 G1 phase, S phase shows this, and G2 M phase. This graph shows the cell cycle analysis graph. Okay, so further we move out towards apoptosis, as my work is on apoptosis, so I think I can explain better how you can identify apoptotic cells by the help of flow cytometer. So first I want to tell you something about apoptosis. What is the difference between apoptosis and necrosis? Single cell or a small cluster of cells is the property of apoptotic cells. Cell shrinkage and convolution are going to take place in apoptosis. Pycnosis and karyorrhexis is happening in apoptotic cells. Intact cell membrane, cytoplasm retained in apoptotic bodies, no inflammation seen in apoptotic cells. Whereas when we talk about necrosis, often contagious cells, cell swelling, karyolysis, pycnosis and karyorrhexis is happening, disruption of cells taking place, cytoplasmic inclusions, cytoplasm are going to be released from the cells, inflammation usually present. So following feature of the apoptotic cascade can be observed using flow cytometry: altered phospholipid composition of the plasma membrane, activation of caspase, chromatin condensation, DNA fragmentation. Chromatin condensation, DNA fragmentation can be detected by the help of propidium iodide. Altered phospholipid composition in the plasma membrane detected by the help of annexin 5. Activation of caspase is detected by the help of annexin 5. Expression of protein involved in apoptosis, change in mitochondrial membrane potential, decreased cytosolic pH and altered membrane permeability. So detection of apoptotic cells based on changes in forward scattering during apoptosis, there is an initial increase in SSC because the granularity of the cells are going to be increased when apoptosis is going to be happened in the cells, probably due to the chromatin condensation, because when apoptosis is going to take place, the chromatin condensation is the most important phenomena in the cells. So because why chromatin condensation is happening? Because the cell produce one signal that there is something wrong happening inside the cells. You have to repair that that rupture, that disruption of the cell. So the cells are going to be increase their divisional capacity, increase their replication process, so the chromatin condensation is more in apoptotic cell rather than normal cells, with the reduction of FSC, because cell shrinkage are going to be shown because FSC is, reduces and chromatin condensation increases, though, so SSC is increased, so the cells move towards upward, away from the zero. So drawback are that in many cases the forward light scattering histogram of apoptotic and live cell overlap and make it difficult to discriminate apoptotic cell based on solely this parameter, because FSC SSC is not only a parameter to identify whether the cell has undergone the apoptosis or not. Okay, so detection of apoptotic cell based on annexin 5, for overcoming this problem, we are using annexin 5 two color system, that is annexin 5 and PI. PI is propidium iodide. Propidium iodide is red color fluorescence, produces red color fluorescence, and FITC produces uh, green color signal. Okay. During early apoptosis, cell lose symmetry, phosphatidylserine on outer leaflet of the plasma membrane, because in early apoptosis what will happen, this is the extracellular matrix of the cell and this is intracellular matrix of the cell. In intracellular matrix, phosphatidylserines are found. Okay, so when apoptosis is induced, this phosphatidylserine is flipping out from the cells. So by the exposure of this phosphatidylserine, this annexin 5 bind with this phosphatidylserine and produces signal. So when apoptosis is going to take place, flipping of phosphatidylserine happening. So when exposure of, because we are putting simply annexin 5 and PI in the solution, so when this phosphatidylserine is exposed, then freely available annexin 5 are going to get bind with that phosphatidylserine and produces fluorescence. Okay. Annexin 5 is a calcium dependent phospholipid binding protein that binds preferentially to the negatively charged phosphatidylserine, because phosphatidylserine is negatively charged, and because of that negative charge, this phosphatidylserine found inside the cell. Okay. So analysis with fluorescence microscope, viable cell showing no apoptosis, more red orange type of cells are necrotic cells, because in this rupture of the plasma membrane takes place, no phosphatidylserine are found, so that annexin 5 are going to bind. In this, late apoptosis are shown because phosphatidylserine, annexin 5 can bind with phosphatidylserine and PI is bound more, and this is early apoptotic cell. Okay. Assay involving incubating briefly solution containing fluorochrome conjugated annexin 5 in buffer that facilitate its binding. Apoptotic cells can detect easily by flow cytometer on the basis of fluorescence due to increased binding of FITC conjugated annexin 5. Drawback is, what is the drawback of annexin 5 PE? It is not specific only for apoptosis, because whenever cell membrane integrity is disrupted either by the help of apoptosis or either by the help of autophagy, it cannot define whether these cells are going into the actual apoptosis or not. Okay. So detection of apoptotic cell based on PI, intact plasma membrane of live cells have tendency to exclude cationic dyes such as propidium iodide and 7-amino actinomycin 7-AMD. PI is a good staining method too, because PI can bind with the DNA, so it can only bind with DNA. If DNA is exposed from outside from the cell, so PI can bind with that. So if more PI, less annexin means late apoptosis. If more PI, no annexin means necrosis. If no PI, no annexin means healthy cells. If proportionally annexin and PI bind with the cell, it shows early apoptosis. Okay. So in this combined use of cation dye, that is PI and annexin 5, allow discrimination between live cells containing both negative, early apoptotic cells having annexin 5 positive and PI negative. So this population is live cell. The population which comes over here is early apoptosis. The population which comes over here is late apoptosis, and the population which comes over here is necrosis, because here more pi bind with it and no annexin are going to bind with the cell, so it is necrosis. Here both double positive, so late apoptosis. Here annexin positive, pi negative, so this is early apoptosis and this is live cells. Okay. I hope you understand what I am saying, what I taught to you. So please subscribe my channel for latest lectures related to biological sciences. Or soon I would like to tell you that soon I will upload some lectures related to computer sciences also, so those student who really want to know MCSC, different type of computer courses, so I will put some lectures on that, so you can easily access from Era of Science channel. So again I am requesting you, please subscribe and like my channel so that I can further upload some of the recent lectures related to recent techniques or recent phenomena. And soon I will put one lecture on coronavirus. So what is coronavirus and how it is spread among the individual. Okay. So then bye bye, good night, take care, stay safe, stay home, bye.